what in the world is happening with King County real estate? You got to see this. This is super exciting. It's super exciting. I love numbers. All right. If you look, March, we just completed March. Here we are in April. You're looking at the supply and demand graph. That's the green is the supply, the blue is the demand. New listings that came on during the month versus ones that went under contract. How's that going? You can see 3,100 new listings in March. That's more listings than 2020. Wow. What year is this? 2022? Oh my God. That's more listings than 2021 and 2020. That's how time works. It goes backwards by a year. Got to remember that. All right. So anyway, more listings came on in March of this year than either of the last 2 years. Wait, it's going to get better than that. But watch what's happening here. There were more listings than homes in February, but there's about 4% higher listings to home ratio in March. In other words, the gap of homes is outpacing buyers. It's, which is the first, you can see, look, January, February, and March. Look at how much the homes are outpacing buyers by more and more, which is radically different than the last 3 months of the year, right? And even if you go back, you can see the same kind of thing in September, but really it hasn't been that case for about 6 months. So there's a little bit of an easing in the market, and you can feel it. It's going from, now, this is King County. Every neighborhood is different, but overall you can see this is beginning to look like a quote unquote normal year. What do I mean by a normal year? Well, let's go back a little further than the pandemic years and look at what I mean. Okay, here's the pandemic. Here's what happens before the pandemic. All right, see how in every year before the pandemic, the 5 years, we kept reaching more and more inventory. And if you were around in 2019, you remember there was something of a stall in prices. Yeah, that was outstripping. But we had 3,100 homes in March of this year, more than the last 2 years. What happened during these pandemic years? I mean, pre-pandemic, March up, same number as 2019. Same number, right? But the buyers, there were far more buyers this year than 2019. There were more homes on the market this year than 2018, and there were more homes on the market this year than 2017. Now, buying has been up, right? But what it's shaping up as is a more quote unquote normal year from the past. So what does that mean? I think that means if this keeps going, if we see the same sort of trend in April, then you can start to figure that May, June, July are going to look like these months in 2017, 18, 19, not like these months in 2020, 2021. That means if you're looking to buy, take a deep breath, see what happens in May, June, and July. You may wind up with what was at the time, 2017, 18, 19, like excess inventory at the end of the year. That was seasonally normal. If I go back further than 5 years, you'll see, let's just go back 10 years. You'll see there's a seasonality that happens, and that made it so that you could pick up bargains or at least be less competitive. You have to be in a less competitive environment in the summer. That was pretty normal at the end of the summer. Everyone thinks they should list in the summer, which is insanity because everyone thinks that. Why? I don't know what you're thinking to think, oh yeah, I'm going to put it on the market in the summer. It's going to be more competition. I mean, there are more buyers, but the ratio between buyers and sellers is it's higher. There's more sellers than buyers. So if you're looking to sell, I would do it now. April, get it on the market. Get on the market before Memorial Day. Get on the market after Memorial Day. You run into a likelihood of this kind of scenario. You'll get less opportunity to have it bid up. If you're buying, you might be able to get something really workable in June, July, August, and September if this keeps going that way. We'll see. With interest rates rising, it really does. It is all pointing to we could be at a cap, and that could exacerbate this, could make it more like 2019, where we had everyone panicking. They weren't panicking in 2019, but they'd be panicking this year. Get it on the market. Let's get it sold. You might wind up with a bargain. So we'll see what happens. But this is the first month in a long time where I could say, look, something different is happening. So this is something different. We'll take a look and see what it means, but that's how it's going. All right. You got questions about your situation? Because listen, every neighborhood is different. This is not the case if you just put a spotlight on Redmond or Bellevue. If you just did that, it'd be totally different than King County as a whole. So every place is a little bit different. So you got to watch how you interpret this. All right. So let me know. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you in your specific situations. Let me know what I can do for you. Okay. Anytime. Aaron Hendon with Christine & Company at eXp. Talk to you later. Like this, share it, subscribe, do all that stuff. Hurry up. What in the world is happening with Pierce County and Tacoma real estate? Check it out. It's the first time in a long time I can say something has changed. It's so exciting. All right. Well, you're looking at supply and demand. Green is the supply, blue is the demand. Green is the number of new listings that came on any given month, and blue is the number of houses that went under contract that month. Most accurate way to predict anything is to look and see what supply and demand is doing, not just a good idea. It's the law. So what you've got here is after multiple months where under contract exceeded new listings. So it's this is October, November, December, January, 4 months of more demand than supply. Supply eked up in February. And remember, we were talking last month, like if this trend keeps up, we might see something approaching a normal season. And sure enough, March of this year, we had more listings come to market than either of the past 2 years, the pandemic years. More listings came to market. And the delta, the change, the gap between pending and new listings is greater this month than last month. It's easing of the demand. It's the easing of the pressure on the current listings. Now, for a much bigger perspective, let's look at the last 5 years, because you'll see something I think is interesting, because I like numbers. All right, here we go. Okay. Look at this. So March here, of this year, we had 1,600, more than March of 2021, more than March of 2020. What was March of 2019? More than March of 2019. Was it more than March of 2018? 1621, where are we at here? Yep, more than March of 2018 and more than just shy of March of 2017. All right, so what we are seeing in March is a return to whatever you would have considered normal before the pandemic. In other words, the same number of listings are coming on in March as have been in the past 5 years, in the pre-pandemic years. What does that mean? It means if things keep going, you'll see some kind of gap like this where there'll be that many more listings than buyers. It does not mean a buyer's market. It does mean a less insane market than what we've had for buyers. So if you're looking, what it translates to, if you're looking to sell, do it now, before before Memorial Day. Why? Because you don't want to be listing when there's all this other competition. That's crazy. Okay. Then if you're buying, I would take a breath. I would wait to see what April brings. If the trend continues in April, as has been now in March, you will then really have a sense of June, July, August will present buying opportunities you don't have now. It means you don't have to be the 15th offer in and sell sell your car to get a house. Here's my firstborn. Those kind of offers should be off the table come June. With the increase of interest rates, all of that is beginning to add up to a decrease in buyer demand. If the trend of listings comes on, which could be because people start going, oh my God, it's time to sell. We were at the peak. The truth is you should have been selling in January and February. And you watch, all these people are going to hop on the wagon and start selling over the summer. Buyers are going to have a real opportunity, something they haven't had. I don't think this is a market collapse. I don't think this is the pop of a bubble. I think this is a reasonable expectation for a pause and increase, and could be some panic selling, like, oh my God, let's get it out the market. If you're selling, I would beat the rush. Get it for sale in April, beginning of May. Let's go. Let me know if you have questions about your specific situation, because everyone's circumstances are different. Let me know what I can do for you. Like this, share it, comment, do all that good social media stuff. Let me know if I can help you in any way. Aaron Hendon with Christine & Company over at eXp Realty. What in the world is happening with Kitsap Real Estate? This is the first time in about 6 months we've had any kind of change. Okay. It really has now begun to shift to more inventory. And let's take a look at what I'm talking about here. You're looking at supply and demand. This is the last 2 years. Blue is the demand. It's the houses that went under contract any given month. The green is the supply. That's the houses that came to market during that month. So if you look, you had, this is back in October, more buyers and sellers, more buyers and sellers, more buyers and sellers. Oh, just a few more sellers and buyers in January. February, inventory started to go up, and March inventory even higher. Look at this number, 445 in Kitsap. That is more than March of 2021. And this is the pandemic. This is the beginning of the pandemic. Almost as many as in the beginning of the pandemic. And in these smaller counties, you saw a real trend at the very beginning of the pandemic for people to rush their house on before the shutdown. So that we're at that level now bodes really well for buyers, and it's a little bit going to be dicier for sellers. Look what happens if you zoom out a little bit further and you go the last 5 years. You'll see an interesting trend. Okay, you notice how in the past, the summers, the peaks have had way more inventory, way more new listings than buyers. Not so much the case during the pandemic. A little bit more last year, but certainly not the year of the pandemic. So what you can see here is you got 476 in March. We know it's as more than the last 2 years. What happened before the pandemic? Nope, it's not as many as, no, it is. It's more than March of 2019. It's going to be more than March of 20, and it's more than March of 20, meaning more homes came to market this March than any of the last 5 years. That starts to point to that maybe we're getting to what would have been in the past a normal seasonality, meaning far more listings in the summer than there are buyers. I don't know why people think it's better to sell in the summer. Nothing about supply and demand says it's better to sell in the summer, except this is one of those cases where common knowledge is just flat out wrong. Why? Look at the math. You got more listings than buyers. Not a great time to sell. But that means if you're out to sell in Kitsap, you want to get it to the market before Memorial Day. And if you're looking to buy, if you see something to buy it. But I wouldn't be in a panic. I think April, May, mostly June, July, and August is going to supply you with an opportunity to pick something up. I don't think it's a buyer's market. I don't think you're getting bargains. But with the increase in interest rates and the potential of panic selling or more people coming to market than in the last 2 years, which is going to feed on itself because people begin to see that and they go, oh, we got to get to market. You're going to get better deals June, July, August than you will before then. That's the way this is headed. We'll take a look. We'll watch what April brings us. But this is the first time in about 6 months I could say, look, something's changed. That's a change in the market. Now, every neighborhood is different. Bainbridge is going to be different than Silverdale. It's just different. So if you have specific questions about your situation, that's what I'm here for. All right, let's take a look together. Like this, share it, comment, all the good social media stuff. Aaron Hendon with eXp, Christine and Company. Talk to you later. Bye. What in the world is happening with Vashon Real Estate? It's getting exciting. Right. Why? Because this is the first month in a long time where I could say it's not more of the same. This is the first month where sellers really outstrip buyers, where there were more new listings that came on the market than houses that were sold. That's the first time since, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the last 6 months. First time in the last 6 months. That's a change. All right. That's also fairly consistent with a seasonal change. In other words, March this generally happens. March in 2021, there were more houses that came to market. What is this? This is April, so March. We had more houses this March than last March. We had a little bit less houses. Oh no, this was right before the pandemic. This is everyone pushed their houses to market. Doesn't really count because really I remember that everyone was like, we got to go. So we had this huge spike. But this is fairly normal, what you would have passed for normal seasonality, which means, so let's just take a look back past the pandemic. Let's go back a little bit further than that. And you can see what normal seasonality means. Now, Vashon's a very small market, so just a couple of houses skews the data. But you could see in a seasonally normal market, you wind up with 25, 30 houses coming a month in the summer months. Not usually a whole bunch of excess inventory. If you watch the Tacoma or the King County updates, the Pierce or King County updates, you'll see there's an excess inventory phenomenon. Not so much the case on Vashon, but there is definitely a seasonal trend to more people list their homes, which is a whole separate thing, how insane that is. But in the meantime, what you can see is in 2019, March, we have more houses come to market than in 2019. We had less houses in this year than were in 2018. We're double that in 2018. And about the same, more about 20 or 30% more in 2017. So it's not quite back to whatever normal was, but it is a normalizing trend. The trend is moving towards a more normal selling season. Now, what's going to happen? We don't know. There's obviously pent-up demand. The last 2 years have really shifted things, right? I would think it's still going to be hyper competitive, especially for the nicer houses. I don't see how any of this makes the pricing drop. It might put a cap on the prices, but I don't know that the prices all of a sudden just crater for some reason. So what you can look for in April is, are we seeing a continuation of the current trend of more normal seasonality? In which case, you can look for 20, 25 houses coming to market in April, May, June. Let's see something like this popping over 30 in June of 2018 and 2019. Could be, right? That would be really great for buyers. And we'll see how the whole thing winds up going. But right now, this is the first month where I can say, hey, look, there's actually a change. There's times they are changing, okay? So let's take a look and see what it winds up meaning for all of us. If you're looking to sell, I don't know why you'd roll the dice. I don't even know why you'd ever think selling in the summer is the better idea. Look at any normal season, any season at all. More people sell in the summer. That's got to be worse for your bottom line. I mean, supply and demand, right? It's not a good idea. It's the law. It's the way it works. So you're unlikely to get more for it later, and a decent chance that you really won't get more for it later, like a decent chance that the price is capped. With interest rates and everything, I'd get it to market today. And if you're buying on the island, take a breath. Take a step back. Wait for, if you see something, great, buy it. But if you don't, I don't know that I would freak out about it, because it's looking like you could have a normal, 25 to choose from in May, June, July kind of summer, in which case, save your bullets. Let's go. All right. If you got questions about your particular situation, let me know, because everyone's situation is unique. Let me know. That's what I'm here for. Okay. Like this, share it, comment, do all that great social media stuff. And let me know if I can help you. Okay. Aaron Hendon with Christine & Company at eXp. Talk to you soon.